Part 1. Setting the Stage. 70 Weeks. The Vision. The prophecy of the 70 weeks is one of the most spectacular divine time measures in Holy Writ. Prophecy consists of God showing us history, His story in advance, and a divine time measure is a prophecy which is confined to a specific amount of time in which the events prophesied must come to pass without error. God has often used this tool in His Word to assert the credibility of the written prophetic. Only the God of the Bible has been able to encapsulate history within the confines of His foretold will. Thus, He establishes His power and authority over all. Remember, God views the complexity of nations as just a drop of a bucket. Isaiah 40:15. The 70 weeks reveal to mankind the exact year that Messiah the Prince came, appearing on the earth in His public ministry. This is truly amazing. Let's define the scenario around the impartation of this prophecy concerning the Jews to Daniel, the Babylonian captive. In the year 538 BC, the prophet and interpreter of dreams Daniel received from the angel Gabriel the vision of the 70 weeks. As previously stated, this word is one of the greatest messianic prophecies in the scriptures. It perfectly identified the year 27 AD in which Messiah the Prince would appear and begin His earthly ministry, confirming the new covenant with Daniel's people, the Jews, for 1 week, that is, 7 years. Also this same year, 538 BC, marked the beginning of the Jews' restoration and deliverance from exile by the decree of the victorious Cyrus, king of the new Medo-Persian Empire and conqueror of Babylon. The vision of the 70 weeks is recorded as follows. Daniel 9:24-27. Verse 24. 70 weeks are determined, or served off, RV, upon thy holy city, Jerusalem. 1. To finish the transgression. 2. To make an end of sins. 3. To make reconciliation for iniquity. 4. To bring in everlasting righteousness. 5. To seal up the vision and prophecy. 6. To anoint the most holy. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto Messiah the Prince, Son of God, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. Verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah, Jesus, be cut off, but not for Himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. Verse 27. And He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations He shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So while Daniel was speaking, praying, and confessing both his sin and that of his captive people Israel, Gabriel came before him and presented what centuries later will be known as indisputable proof that Jesus Christ was this foretold Messiah the Prince. Only Jesus precisely fulfilled this prophecy. In order to further enhance our historical perspective, let's briefly outline the sequence of Gentile empires as listed in Daniel chapter 2. This was Nebuchadnezzar's vision of the golden image, properly interpreted as 5 kingdoms which would rule consecutively in the prophetic earth. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had an extremely important dream. He refused to inform his wise men of its contents, yet he put the burden of interpretation on them. He demanded the exact revelation and interpretation. They responded, It is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can shew it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. Wrong, false prophets. The God of heaven does dwell with men. As we know, Daniel was able to reveal the content of the dream and give its interpretation. Following is an outline of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Nebuchadnezzar's great image. Head of gold, Babylon, 741 to 538 BC. Breast and arms of silver, Medo-Persia, 538 to 336 BC. Belly and thighs of brass, Greece, 336 to 62 BC. Legs of iron, Rome, pagan, 62 BC to 313 AD. Feet and toes of iron and clay, Rome subdivided, 476 AD. By looking at the historical chronology of the vision, we can identify the empire in relation to the others in which the divine time measure of the 70 weeks commenced. Daniel's 70 weeks began in the days of the Medo-Persian Empire, under the reign of King Artaxerxes I. The time measure began in the year 457 BC. Many try to begin the time measure with the decree of Cyrus in 538 BC. This will be addressed in detail. This is an indiscretion that many well-intentioned students of Bible prophecy have made. We are going to be examining a divine time measure that identifies the exact year Messiah the Prince, Jesus Christ, began his earthly ministry. We cannot have an 81-year mistake in our calculations. The confusion in determining which decree, Cyrus or Artaxerxes, marked the starting point for the 70 weeks is only one of the major problems we face. The other is the exact ending of the prophecy, its fulfillment. I am asserting that this great prophetic continuum of the Bible has run its course completely. I will reveal the event that ended its exclusive application to Daniel's people, the Jews, and establish with the force of Scripture that Christ has fulfilled all 6 messianic prophecies contained therein. The other problem on the stage of history is the genesis of the interpretation most widely held today. Where did it come from? Why was it written? And how was it treated by great men of God for centuries? The proper eschatological term for the view most taught today is futurism. It is futuristic eschatology which fuels the confusion of dispensationalism. The futuristic school of Bible prophecy came from the Roman Catholic Church, specifically her Jesuit theologians. This actuality has been a known and documented truth in the Protestant Church for centuries, and it is the interpretation held by the vast majority of Christians today. However, the alternative has been believed for centuries. It is known as historicism.